guy, Rob Higgins from the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Man, what a segue. Do something you love in sports, and then you tee up Rob Higgins. That's like synonymous because I'm living the dream, especially this week and finally getting a Stadium Series game here.
Rob, so happy and continue your fight. I know you've been dealing with some health issues, and we love you. And just to see the outpouring of emotion from your social media and all the comments and people behind you, man, it's cool to see from my perspective because I hope you know how much that you mean to everybody here in Tampa Bay. I always harken back to the national championship game when we saw each other at 4 a.m. after that game and how tired we both were, and I had to go on air at 7 a.m. the next day. And now we have an outdoor hockey game, man. I mean, it's pretty crazy that we have gotten to this point. Let's fill in our guests, fill in our viewers here of like how this whole thing kind of came to fruition from the beginning.
Well, it was at least 10 years ago that Mr. Pennick and Steve Griggs, Bill Wickett at the time, all of us really started talking about what it could look like here. And, fast forward to August of 2016, we worked together, put together a bid proposal that we shipped up to the NHL in Yeti coolers to prove that we knew how to keep ice cold as well. And really just try to lay out the vision for what it would be like here and why it would be successful. Everything from, sun studies related to the ice to what we thought the ancillary events would look like and everything in between. And then just a couple years later, we hosted the NHL All-Star Weekend in 2018. It was over Gasparilla weekend. And as part of that whole effort, we, as the NHL and, all the fans headed to the airport, we had a billboard there with a rendering of what Stadium Series would look like inside Raymond James Stadium, and basically said, hey, next time let's go outside of the box being, an indoor arena. And then we've had, countless meetings and site visits and just continue to vet out the overall concept in tandem with, the Lightning as well as NHL. And then finally, 48 hours ago, the announcement came out that really we're all going to make history together. I mean, it's an exciting event for so many different reasons. But one of the things that I think about is how it really embodies all of what Team Tampa Bay is about. You got the Lightning playing in the Bucks Stadium. You've got, the hard work and perseverance that it took place to be able to get it here. You got the innovation and creative thinking that went into it. And then certainly the regionality of it all, where the whole Bay will take a lot of pride in getting an opportunity to host it, and so much more. I mean, that to me, I think, is what's so special. All of our events that we do are a collective effort, and they all have their own story. But this one, when you think about everything that went into it, it's a pretty cool backstory.
Yeah, and I think about two other ones too, like the Frozen Four, and how everybody after that was saying like, "Oh my God!" That like a lot of those people in quote unquote traditional hockey markets from the north, they were like, I can't believe we knew the Lightning were here, but we didn't know that the events are going to be like this." And volleyball recently in the last couple of years, where every time I watch the volleyball national championship now, I think about the one that we had here, and it was packed, and people were just the coaches, the way that there's no better ringing endorsement than having those guys and gals going, man, Tampa really rolled out the red carpet. People are very excited about this. And I remember going to Nashville a couple of years ago when the Lightning played the Predators. But the one question that I get, Rob, from a lot of people is, Jay, how is this going to work, right? How are we going to make sure that it's not going to be one of those random 65, 70-degree days in February of 2026? I know there's going to be a lot of fingers crossed and a lot of, prayers that we're going to have here in Tampa, but what can you tell those people as far as like when the game is going to be? Is it going to be a day in the day? Is it going to be at night? Like, what kind of precautions can you take beforehand when it comes to the planning to make sure that the playing surface is going to be good for both teams?
Yeah, I mean, we'll roll first and foremost. That's why the decision took as long as it did. I never felt like it was an if situation, but more a when. And the when was once we all had the utmost confidence and the technology was to the point in time where we knew this was going to work. And so that, first and foremost, I think is the first global aspect of it. But we're going to come back here in the next month or two and do an actual event around and focus more so on the specifics and, shine a light on, the how in addition to the who, what, when, and where that we've already expressed. What I will tell you is there's been a lot of I's dotted, T's crossed. There's been a lot of due diligence, historical data that has flown into it. And then I think the ironic part of it all is ever since we announced, it's been between 30 and 40 degrees here. So I think we've already got some good practice in over these last 48 hours. And there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to be a big success. And you couple it with Gasparilla Weekend, just like our NHL All-Star playbook that we had from 7 years ago. And I think it's going to be something that you don't want to miss.
All right, so just to reiterate, there's going to be like another event kind of explaining how the whole process is going to work.
Yeah, we're going to come up on a press conference here in the not too distant future where we're having an opportunity. This one, obviously, it was important to roll out with the Panthers game as well at the same time, because it is such a great celebration of hockey, not only for Tampa, but for the state. I mean, you look at the success of both the Lightning and the Panthers over, the last decade, and to have, these two outdoor games taking place all within a month next year is really special. So we all wanted to certainly lean into the Sunshine State celebration of hockey, but we're going to peel back the curtain too in the not too distant future when it comes to Tampa specifically as well.
How's our guy?
I mentioned too. You mentioned Frozen 4, so it made me think of this. Is what I didn't expect and didn't anticipate, but I saw a lot on social media. The number of college hockey fans between Boston College back who won the national championship here at Frozen 4 in 2012, or BU who was in 2023. Like I just started to see a lot of different comments and whatnot, interactions on social media from some of those familiar faces that I got to know a little bit through hosting Frozen 4. So I think it's pretty cool that it is the Bruins coming here. Our community has a lot of great storylines when it comes to not only on ice with them, but the Northeastern corridor and the number of people that are either transplants or spend time here from that area. So it's really, I think, the best of both worlds to be able to have an outdoor hockey game in a special place like this, but then also have this matchup that we do.
All right. The question everybody really wants to know is, what's the likelihood that we can get our guy Titus O'Neil on skates?
Oh man, I hate Titus. The last thing I'd want to see is Titus. I love Titus. We have a love-hate relationship. It's probably 49% love, 51% hate. You can tell him I said that. I don't think he has enough athleticism to be able to skate at the level that's needed. I mean, we're talking about some of the best players in the world. If you recall, he didn't even have enough athleticism to enter the ring without tripping and falling, and that was he's only aged since that happened 5-6 years ago. So it's I love Titus. I love what he does for the community. He's a great man. We are so fortunate to have him here in the community, but don't tell him I said all
that. It's not like we're live anywhere. People all over the Bay Area. And we got to find some skates for him too. We got to go to the equipment manager and see if they make freaking skates that big. I've always loved everything that you guys do over there. The team that you guys have at the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Just give everybody that doesn't really know, the Tonys, the Claires, the whole crew over there, just how important they are and just how it's a 365-day type of thing of planning all of these events out to make sure that the proper spotlight is shown on our area.
Oh, I mean, we are so lucky to have the team we do. I think we have the best in the world at every single position. It really is a dream team. So, we've had Jason Augie here for 19 years, and Claire and Tony and Mike Farrant, who have all been here, 12, 13, 14 years with us. So the continuity, I think everybody, has that game day, everyday mentality. We understand what the honor it is to be able to do what we do in conjunction with the community. Katie Kicklighter and Mercedes Jorge, they all just are so talented, and it's an honor to work with them every single day. I think there's a lot of, I say attention that go on these major events. I mean, whether it's, Lionel Messi coming in a little over a month to the Savannah Bananas in their first ever NFL stadium game in March to the NCAA Women's Final Four in April. But a lot of people don't realize we're bidding on and attracting and hosting youth and amateur events, really of all shapes and sizes, almost every weekend. So somewhere between 100 to 120 events on an annual basis. And those events aren't ones that just, pop up and show up without, getting a lot of love and attention from our team. We have 7 team members, 7 team members. And then, usually on an ongoing basis, a couple interns. And, a lot of our competition that we're going up against could have, 20 staff members, or they could have entities that, when they're hosting similar events, that could have host committees of 30 people. But because we have such talented people that have been around for so long and have such great relationships, we're able to do a lot more with less. And I think we're really fortunate to have the team that we do have in place.
Yeah, but those other teams, they may have 20 people, but they don't put on events like the Sneaker Soiree. I mean, come on,
That's
man.
right. That's right.
What's you mentioned those 3 events there. Anything else coming down the pike, or anything else that we should be keeping an eye or an ear out about?
I mean, we're really excited about those 3 coming up. In addition to Stadium Series in 26, we also have NCAA Men's March Madness in 26. So that's pretty cool to have that,
Wow.
Stadium Series in February, and then March Madness immediately following.
That first 2 rounds?
First 2 rounds, yep. And then we just announced the Florida-Georgia game for 27. Yeah. So, these things, we say it very humbly, but I think Team Tampa Bay should take a lot of pride in it. Like a lot of communities, would trip over themselves to have one of those announcements, and the fact that we, are so fortunate to have, the facilities that we do, the reputation that we do as a community, the volunteers that support it and, welcome our visitors the way they do. I mean, it truly is an overall team effort. So to have this many great announcements all in a row has been fantastic. And the last thing I'll say on that is we're not done yet. We're always working on something. You're not going to get it out of me, Jay. I'll proactively say that. We're always working on something. And you can promise we got the eye on the ball in terms of continuing to fill the pipeline.
It's funny. I'm up in the press box last night at Emily Arena, and we're talking about the outdoor game, and I'm sitting with the great Bobby the Chief Taylor, and he goes, "Man, who one of the most important people here in the Tampa Bay area is?" And I go, "Who?" And he goes, "That Rob Higgins guy from the Tampa Bay Sports Commission." I'm like, "Chief, he's going to be on the podcast tomorrow." He's like, "Oh, I'm going to have to tune in." But Rob, man, I thank you so much for your time, and thank you for all that you do. I mean, you're one of those people that really makes everybody here in Team Tampa Bay proud. And we know you're always putting your best foot forward. You and the entire team, give everybody my love. And stay strong, man. Keep fighting that good fight, brother. And have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
I appreciate it, Jay. Thanks for all that you do for Team Tampa Bay as well.
Appreciate you, man. Good stuff. As always, the one and only Rob Higgins, the executive director of the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Doesn't get better than that. And